Imagine this. You're sitting at your desk, heart pounding, eyes fixed on that screen or that paper. The moment you've been waiting for, longer than you can remember, has just arrived. Final sign. It reads, it just appeared, and suddenly the weight of everything you've been carrying feels heavier, but also more real than ever. What does this mean? Where do you go from here? This isn't just a piece of paper, a signature, or a blinking cursor. It's a crossroads, a divine appointment with destiny. Sometimes in life God places before us a moment that seems small but carries monumental significance. Like the final signature on a contract, it represents the closing of one chapter and the opening of another. And here's the truth. You have been prepared for this moment far longer than you realize. Every struggle, every tear, every sacrifice has been leading you to this point. When that final sign appears, it can stir up fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear of stepping out. But listen carefully. Fear is a liar. It wants to freeze you in place, but God calls you to move forward. Because the final sign isn't just a conclusion, it's a commission. It's God's way of saying, now it's time to trust me and walk boldly into what I have for you. Think about Abraham, waiting years for a promise to come true. When the sign finally appeared, he didn't hesitate. He stepped out in faith, knowing that God's timing is perfect. Maybe that's exactly where you are today, on the edge of a breakthrough where hesitation must give way to faith. Remember this: sometimes the final sign looks like an ending, but it is really a new beginning. It's the moment when your faith must rise louder than your fear, when your hope becomes a roar in the face of uncertainty. God is saying, I'm with you, I'm for you, don't stop now. So when that final sign just appeared, don't look back at what's behind you. Don't drown in doubt or regret. Lift your eyes and walk forward, because the best is not only yet to come, it is waiting for you right now. Imagine this: the final sign appears suddenly, almost out of nowhere, and your heart skips a beat. It's that exact moment when everything feels suspended in time, when the air thickens with anticipation, and your soul instinctively knows that something profound is unfolding. This moment is not just another checkpoint or casual occurrence. It is a moment of arrival, a pivotal point that demands your undivided attention. It is the crossroads where the path behind you meets the road ahead, and the decisions you make in this instant will ripple through the rest of your life. This isn't a random event. It is the culmination of every step you've taken, every prayer whispered in the quiet, every struggle endured in silence. The final sign signals that the waiting is over, and now the time for action, for faith, for obedience has come. Like a traveler who has journeyed through rugged terrain, finally seeing the summit, this moment is your chance to grasp what has been promised. And so, as you look at that sign, don't let it pass unnoticed or underestimated. It's more than ink on paper or words on a screen. It's a divine invitation to step into the destiny God has been preparing for you all along. The significance of this moment is that it changes everything. It marks the shift from preparation to fulfillment, from waiting to doing, from hope to reality. When the final sign just appears, it is God's way of saying, now it is time. And you, my friend, are ready. That final sign that just appeared isn't a coincidence or a stroke of luck. It's a divine appointment, orchestrated by God Himself. Think about that for a moment. Every moment leading up to this, every trial, every setback, every quiet prayer in the night has been carefully woven together by the hand of a loving God who is in control. This isn't random chance, it's purpose. God has been preparing you, shaping you, and positioning you exactly where you need to be for this moment to arrive. Just like Joseph in the Bible, who endured years of hardship before the moment of promotion, your journey has a purpose far beyond what you can see right now. When the final sign appears, it's God's way of saying, "This is your time. I have brought you here for a reason. You are not here by accident. You are not a product of happenstance. Every step, even those that seemed painful or confusing, was part of God's plan. This moment is His appointment with you, a divine intersection where heaven's purpose meets your willing heart. So when you see that sign, remember, it's God's signature on your life, marking a moment of destiny, and He has already equipped you to walk through it. When that final sign appears, one of the first things you might feel is fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of failure, fear of what stepping forward might cost you. It's natural. Fear tries to grip your heart, whispering doubts and questions, trying to paralyze you into inaction. But listen carefully. Fear is a liar. It's the enemy's way of trying to keep you stuck, to prevent you from moving into the destiny God has prepared for you. The moment the final sign just appeared is a call to faith. Faith that is louder, stronger, and more determined than your fear. Faith says, even though I don't see the full path, I trust the one who does. Faith says, I may not have all the answers, but I know the one who does. This is the moment to choose faith over fear, to take that step even when your knees shake, to believe that God's promises are bigger than your problems. Remember the story of Peter walking on water. The wind was fierce, the waves were wild, but Peter took one step out of the boat. When he focused on the storm, fear overtook him. But when he fixed his eyes on Jesus, faith carried him. That's the choice you face right now, fear or faith. And the final sign is God's invitation to choose faith, to trust that He will hold you steady, no matter what storms come. Don't let fear keep you from stepping into the incredible future God has for you. Every waiting season, every moment of hardship, every tear you've shed, none of it has been wasted. You see, God uses preparation in ways we often don't understand in the moment. Before the breakthrough, before the blessing, comes the refining process. The final sign that just appeared didn't arrive by accident. It is the result of a long and often difficult journey of preparation. Think about the way a master craftsman works with raw materials, cutting, shaping, smoothing before the final piece can be revealed in all its beauty and strength. That's what God has been doing in your life. He has been preparing you to stand firm when the time comes, to carry the responsibilities that accompany the moment of destiny, and to walk confidently into the calling He has placed on your heart. Every challenge you faced, every delay you endured, was not to punish you, but to prepare you. It's God's way of making sure you don't just receive the final sign, but that you are ready to handle what comes next. So when that moment arrives, you won't crumble under pressure. You will rise, equipped by the very experiences that once seemed so hard. Your past was God's training ground for your future. That final sign, the one that just appeared, is so much more than a simple conclusion or the closing of a chapter. It is a commission, a sacred calling to step into the next season of your life with purpose and courage. God is not done with you yet. In fact, this moment marks the beginning of a new assignment, a fresh mission that only you can fulfill. It's like when Jesus called His disciples not just to follow Him, but to go out and make a difference in the world. That final sign is God's way of commissioning you, saying, I have chosen you for this time, for this place, for this very task. You may feel unqualified or unsure, but remember, God doesn't call the equipped. He equips the called. So when you see that final sign, don't just see it as an ending. See it as God's call to rise up, to take the next step with boldness, to live out the destiny He has carved out just for you. This is your moment to move from waiting to working, from dreaming to doing, from hoping to fulfilling. It is your divine commission. Now is your time to answer the call. God's timing is perfect, even when it feels like everything around you is delayed or stalled. Think about Abraham, who waited decades for the promise of a son, a promise that seemed impossible in the natural. Yet, when the time was right, that final sign appeared in the form of Isaac, the fulfillment of God's covenant. God's timing is never early and never late. It's always exactly right. You might be tempted to rush ahead, to take matters into your own hands, or to give up altogether. But the final sign that just appeared is proof that God's plan is unfolding according to His divine schedule. His timing aligns with His purposes, and He is faithful to bring things to completion at the perfect moment. So when you see that sign, remember, it's not too soon and it's not too late. It is the appointed time that God has ordained for your breakthrough. Trust that He is working behind the scenes, orchestrating every detail for your good and His glory. Your waiting season was never wasted. It was God's preparation for the moment you are standing in now. The key is to keep trusting, keep believing, and keep moving forward, knowing that God's timing is perfect and His promises never fail. What feels like an ending, the final sign that just appeared, may actually be the gateway to something new and extraordinary. Life often tries to convince us that when one door closes, it's the end of the road, but God's perspective is very different. He specializes in new beginnings. Think of the Israelites as they stood at the edge of the Red Sea, with the Egyptian army behind them and nowhere to go. That seemed like an ending, a trap with no escape, but God made it a new beginning. When the waters parted, it wasn't just deliverance from slavery. It was the birth of a nation moving forward into its destiny. So when you see that final sign, don't let it scare you into thinking it's over. Instead, recognize it as the threshold where God is ready to bring something new, something better, something greater than you've ever imagined. The closing of one chapter is the opening of another filled with hope, purpose, and divine opportunity. Your story isn't finished, it's just getting started. The final sign is God's way of saying, get ready for a new beginning. In the moment when that final sign just appeared, you will face a battle within yourself, a battle between faith and fear. Fear wants to paralyze you, to whisper lies about your inadequacy, your past failures, and the uncertainty of what lies ahead. But faith calls you to stand firm, to rise up, and to believe that God's promises are bigger than every doubt and every worry. Remember the story of Peter, who stepped out of the boat onto the stormy sea. For a moment his faith was strong, but then he looked around at the waves, and fear began to pull him under. The difference between sinking and walking on water was where he fixed his eyes. On Jesus. That's the lesson for you today. Your faith must roar louder than your fear. When you fix your eyes on God, your faith becomes a force that conquers fear. It's faith that propels you forward when your emotions want to hold you back. It's faith that says, I may not understand everything, but I trust the one who does. So, when that final sign appears, let your faith be the voice that drowns out fear. Step boldly into what God has prepared, knowing that your faith is greater than any fear trying to stop you. When that final sign just appeared, remember this: God is with you, and He is for you. In the midst of uncertainty, doubt, and hesitation, God's presence surrounds you like a shield, offering peace that surpasses understanding. You are never alone in the moments that feel overwhelming or when the road ahead seems unclear. The psalmist reminds us that God goes before us and stands behind us, guiding every step we take. This final sign is not a solitary checkpoint, but a divine confirmation that God is moving on your behalf. He is not distant or detached. He is intimately involved in your story, walking beside you through every challenge and every victory. So when fear or doubt tries to whisper that you're on your own, remember that the Almighty God is your constant companion. He is your defender, your provider, and your source of strength. That final sign is God's assurance that He is with you, that He is working all things for your good, and that you can step forward boldly because He is for you. When that final sign just appeared, it is God's clear invitation to move forward, to leave behind the past, the doubts, and the fears that have held you back. It's a call to step boldly into the future He has prepared for you. Too often, we get stuck looking back, regretting missed opportunities or fearing what might go wrong. But God is telling you now, don't look back. Keep your eyes on me and keep moving. Forward momentum is essential. Just as a runner can't win a race by looking over their shoulder, you can't fulfill your destiny by dwelling on what's behind you. The final sign marks the moment to push ahead with confidence and courage. God has equipped you with everything you need not just to survive this new season, but to thrive in it. So when you see that sign, take it as a divine green light, a signal that your breakthrough is right in front of you, waiting for your next step. The path may not always be clear, but God's promise is sure. Move forward with faith, knowing that He is guiding your steps, opening doors, and bringing about His perfect plan in your life. This is your moment. Walk into it boldly because the best is waiting for you.